And we are live. Welcome, folks, to Friday Night Tech Talk, our weekly show. And once again, it's me, Mike. And once again, we're very blessed to have Jerome Ortega with us. And I think and hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of him around here. So that's really awesome. And Will be a little late, but he will be along. So let me say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. I hope everybody has their shopping done, has done whatever you need to do, is having a good pre-holiday week, I guess I should say. And hopefully you'll enjoy tonight's conversation. And now we've got Nigel and Six in here. So
I see Nigel beat Six.
Oh, Nigel by a mile today. Six, you're slacking, sir.
Yeah. I thought it'd be close there, So it's a shame.
Right, so Jerome, you want to introduce yourself to people, or say whatever you want to say about your channel?
Sure. No, just want to say hi. Thank you guys for having me again. If you guys don't know me, or it's the first time you're seeing me, I'm Jerome Ortega. You can find me on YouTube at Jerome Ortega, or my other socials at Phone Jerome. That's it.
And Mike, and he takes pictures of fish getting attacked by seagulls.
Only my Patreons got to see
that. Okay. All right.
This whole conversation sounds fishy to me.
It was a little fishy. It was a little fishy. We were all having a moment there. That poor fish didn't have a chance. So I'm Mike Dixon, SimplyYourDevice, and hello, it's Friday. Woohoo! Yay! Okay.
You done?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So, anybody have anything special they want to say or mention before we dive into the stories?
I'm kind of kicking around on what's his name? Gary Brown. I think Gary Brown or somebody keeps on mentioning about Mike and making casseroles.
Speaking of Gary Brown, he is in here right now.
Is he? Okay. Hey, I'm kicking around. See, I do Christmas brunch, and I do these overnight casseroles. So I might do a little live stream or do something on, I don't know, whatever format I'm allowed to be on. And so I just put that out there. I might do a live stream while talk a little tech, make a casserole.
There you go. That's right. You kind of casserole. That's right. Yeah.
What kind? I got a let's see. It's a breakfast casserole. It's got bacon and hash brown with red pepper in it. I got a French toast casserole I'm going to make, and a tater tot casserole.
Wait. You're making all of these for Christmas?
Right. They're all overnight. You prep them, you do the whole thing, you put them in the fridge, they soak up all the juices, they ferment themselves, and then I get up crack ass early in the morning and put them in the oven.
And so when can I come over?
Well, come on down. I was talking to Adam. We're doing brunch at 11 o'clock. Give me a holler. I'll tell you how to get to my brother's house, which ain't far at all. George can tell you how to get there. He's been there.
And Jerome, if you get here, I know how to get to his brother's house. So.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know.
Now, what you should know, as good of friends as Mike and I are, and as much as I love the man, when it comes to cooking, we are polar opposites. He likes to cook. I hate to cook. I like to eat, but I hate to cook.
I love to eat. I kind of like to cook, so I'm kind of in the middle there.
Okay. All right. And you are right on screen in the middle. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go.
There we go. My mom's in the room. My mom says, "Welcome, everyone. We have plenty of room, lots of food. It wouldn't be a Polish mom thing if there wasn't a lot of food. If there wasn't a lot of food, something was wrong. That's all I got.
There you go.
Thank you, Carol, and Merry Christmas, Carol. And Merry Christmas to all of you. Hello, Miss Lisa. She's in here. Gary Brown's in here. He's still talking about your food. Oh, by the way, Mike, I wanted to mention, I thought your case videos with Patricia were excellent, because she was sitting there giving us not some techie view. She was giving us the real person's view, and I thought you did a great job with that.
And that was the whole point of it. Those are the videos I love to do, because coming from us, You know, we may not even try to sanitize it or whatever. You know, I mean, we kind of, it doesn't come as across as versus somebody else there talking about it, and that somebody else being not of our realm. You know,
exactly.
what I mean, so.
Exactly.
So,
and
yeah.
and her nails look good too.
Oh, of course, they're always. Oh, let me tell you, every other week I know about those nails, honey. I need mine.
I guess I should have said she nailed it.
Oh God, is this all day?
Yeah.
People at work with me, Jerome, deal with this all day.
Yeah,
and here's
Jerome.
Here's what I
warned you, Jerome. I warned you about this.
I know.
Here's what I tell them at work. I could keep this bad stuff inside of me, but it's easier to let it out all over everybody else.
Hey,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, can't blame you.
Exactly. All right, so we'll start with the stories.
Let's go.
Sure. What do you got? What do you got in mind?
Okay, the first one is going to be the last one that we got, the New York Times story about the location tracking.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Now, what you should know, folks, is I had sent the guys some stories for the week. And of course, we all say every time we send the stories out, add what you want, let us know, blah, blah, blah. Well, Will came up with a story. I gather Munchie is the one who suggested this story. Mm-hmm. And this is some kind of story. It struck me so strongly that I just felt, okay, this has got to be our lead story. And those of you who know me know I'm the guy who doesn't care how much anybody tells me, who doesn't worry about it. You want to listen to my I don't care. But this story is pretty over the top. So let me see if I can share the screen. And it's very long. We're not going to show all of it. But we're going to, it's long enough that we're going to have to read pieces of it. Each of us will read pieces of it.
Yeah, well, we want to just try and not, we don't want to glaze over it, but there's so much though. Don't you think, guys?
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, and a lot of conversation too with this. So
yeah. So I'm going to start scrolling down because you won't see the title until we go down. But look at what it says. These are the actual locations for millions of Americans at the New York City Stock Exchange. Look at that map. Those are all individual phones. Okay. So as we slide down, in the beachfront neighborhoods of Los Angeles, okay, these are all the phones they're tracking at the same time. In secure facilities like the Pentagon, at the White House, okay, at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's Palm Beach Resort. And here's the title: One Nation Tracked, an investigation into the smartphone tracking industry from Times Opinion. This is from the New York Times. So 12 million phones, one data set, zero privacy. And they're not kidding. Every minute of every day, everywhere on the planet, dozens of companies, largely unregulated, little scrutinized, are logging the movements of tens of millions of people with mobile phones and storing the information in gigantic data files. The Times Privacy Protect obtained one such file, by far the largest and most sensitive ever to be reviewed by journalists. It holds more than 50 billion location pings from the phones of more than 12 million Americans as they move through several major cities, including Washington, New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Each piece of information in this file, now get this, represents the precise location of a single smartphone over a period of several months in 2016 and 2017. The data was provided to Times Opinion by sources who asked to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to share it and could face severe penalties for doing so. The sources of the information said they had grown alarmed about how it might be abused and urgently wanted to inform the public and lawmakers. After spending months sifting through the data, tracking the movements of people across the country and speaking with dozens of data companies, technologists, lawyers, and academics who studied this field, we feel the same sense of alarm. In the cities that the data file covers, it tracks people from nearly every neighborhood and block, whether they live in mobile homes in Alexandria, Virginia, or luxury towers in Manhattan. One search turned up more than a dozen people visiting the Playboy Mansion, some overnight. Without much effort, we spotted visitors to the estates of Johnny Depp, Tiger Woods, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, connecting the device's owners to their residences indefinitely. If you lived in one of the cities the dataset covers and use apps that share your location, anything from weather apps to local news apps to coupon savers, you could be in there too. If you could see the full trove, you might never use your phone the same way again. All right. There's a breaking point. One of you guys want to take over and read what you want, skip, and let me know that you're going to skip, and I'll just follow along.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll take it. So
Okay.
we'll just go down here, and if I got to skim, I'll skim, but I'll just start. So the data reviewed by Times Opinion didn't come from a telecom or giant tech company, nor did it come from a governmental surveillance operation. It originated from a location data company, one of dozens quietly collecting precise movements using software slipped onto mobile phone apps. You've probably never heard most of the companies, and yet to anyone who has access to this data, your life is an open book. They can see the places you go every moment of the day, whom you meet with or spend the night with, where you pray, whether you visit a methadone clinic, a psychiatric's office, or a massage parlor. The Times and other news organizations have reported on smartphone tracking in the past, but never with a data set so large. Even still, this file represents just a small slice of what's collected and sold every day by the location tracking industry. Surveillance so omnipresent in our digital lives that it now seems impossible for anyone to avoid. I don't know how much you guys want us to read.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Skip as far as just let me know where I should go.
Okay. Let me just see here. I mean, it's all interesting, right? Like it's hard not to want to read it. It's just there's so much in here.
Even for somebody like me who usually doesn't give a crap who's watching me, this is kind of scary to me.
Well, what got you? You were kind of like, and you were kind of like me, like, hey, it's just one of those things. But what obviously has really got you upset, though, George, a little bit.
Okay.
I said is upset.
Jerome, let me slide back up a little bit here.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Here's where it started bothering me. Up here. Okay, so Johnny Depp, Tiger Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they know every time one of these people went into one of their houses, when they left, how long they were there, and it also, where did it mention this stuff about being in the whether you visit a methadone clinic, a psychiatrist's office. So in other words, any place you go, and they certainly know where you'll find that later on too. They certainly know where you live, where you work, because they see it being repeated over and over. It's kind of scary, So go ahead, Jerome, pick up where you want.
I'll just keep going down. So it doesn't take much imagination to conjure the powers such always-on surveillance can provide an authoritarian regime like China's. Within America's own representative democracy, citizens would surely rise up in outrage if the government attempted to mandate that every person above the age of 12 carry a tracking device that revealed their location 24 hours a day. Yet, in the decades since Apple's App Store was created, Americans have, app by app, consented to just such a system run by private companies. Now, as the decade ends, tens of millions of Americans, including many children, find themselves carrying spies in their pockets during the day and leaving them beside their beds at night, even though the corporations that control their data are far less accountable than the government would be. The seduction of these consumer products is so powerful that it blinds us to the possibility that there is another way to get the benefits of the technology without the invasion of privacy. But there is, said William Staples, founding director of the Surveillance Studies Research Center at the University of Kansas. All the companies collecting this location information act as what I have called tiny brothers, using a variety of data sponges to engage in everyday surveillance. In this and subsequent articles, we'll reveal what we found and why it has so shaken us. We'll ask you to consider the national security risks the existence of this kind of data creates and the specter of what such precise, always-on human tracking might mean in the hands of corporations and the government. We'll also look at legal and ethical justifications that companies rely on to collect our precise locations and the deceptive techniques that use to lull us into sharing it. Yeah, and then I guess it just goes on about like the information they're getting and, you know, how they're collecting it or whatever. But if you scroll down to like a diary of your every movement, I guess that's just talking about what they're doing here. The companies that collect all this information on your movements justify their business on the basis of 3 claims. People consent to be tracked, the data is anonymous, and the data is secure. Yeah, which, yeah, we know a lot of that is not true. None of those claims.
First one is true. The other 2, I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, there you go. None of those claims hold up based on the file we've obtained and our review of company practices. I mean, we know that's true because look at how often it's like every day in the news, something is getting hacked. Somebody's day. Yeah. I always end up getting an email saying, "Hey, your privacy or your data has been compromised. You might want to change your password or whatever, but here's the stuff they've taken and you can't do anything about it at all."
Exactly.
So what's your reaction? What do you do with that, Jerome? I mean, when you get that email, do you react? Do you change your password, or you just roll your eyes up and go, "Oh well, again"?
I'll do what I have to do, but I think what was the biggest one for me, I think that affected me, or at least in my head, I can't remember which credit bureau. Was it Experian or Equifax, or was it all 3, TransUnion? I don't know. But I remember when that happened, I'm like, okay, how bad does it get? It's like I feel like if somebody hacked our credit reports, they have everything that they need on us, you know? I mean, in terms of like identity theft or whatever. I mean, location tracking obviously is another issue here, but yeah, I mean, for the last however many years we've been using cell phones, it's just people can get whatever info they want on us. And you guys know that. I mean, just a simple search on Google will find things about us that we didn't want to have publicly out there, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now these are pings. The diagrams are showing there. These are the actual cell phones getting pinged back and forth, showing
exactly.
You want to McDonald's, you want to the casino, you want to the bathroom. I get that, but the thing that really gets me with this piece is, what do you do? How do you go and avoid it with that? Okay, because if you pull the tracking portions off your phone just becomes a dumb phone in some way.
Basically, it becomes a brick. My opinion, I don't think I do anything because I don't think there's anything I can do. No,
and that's just the thing. I wonder though too, when Facebook was which that was a joke. They brought them to Congress, was it? If I'm calling it right, okay, and they were scrutinized about stuff.
Yeah, 4 times they brought him to Congress so far. He still does whatever the heck he wants.
And Will just told me they had another data breach.
Yes, they did this week.
Yes. Facebook did?
Yeah. Yeah. Again.
Of course they would.
Again. And then what makes me think about this is they had I don't want to butcher his name, the gentleman from Google, or now the president of the Alphabet. Yes, he was in front of Congress, and they were kind of grilling him. Of course, Congress kind of didn't know much about tech, but do you think what his meeting?
That was an understatement, Mike. Congress didn't know much about tech.
I'm trying to be nice about this.
Yeah, lucky if they know about Fisher-Price toys. Are you kidding me?
Okay, but in the end, do you think that motivated them a little bit of their design of Android 10? Because every time I go in there, it wants to know: do you want location known when you're using the app, or what? It gives you the option. So
I think that is purely driven because they know the politicians are watching them like hawks, and that's a good thing in this case.
Well, yeah, yes. So, but yet, though, too, this is one of these things that how can I say, the fox is in the hen house, and we let him in years ago, not knowing.
Yeah.
Not knowing that this is going to come to be. Now, George.
But on the one hand, we can say not knowing, but on the other hand, I think we all hit accept the terms and conditions, and we never read them. I don't.
Well, we never do, and we never know that this level came to be. If you go,
we have agreed to it beforehand.
Right.
That's
so Will's killing me. Will, if you see Will, go check your email. You have the link in there.
He's trying to get in.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah.
I know. Anyway, he made me to lose my train of thought. George, scroll down where all these selection of companies working in a location data business. If you scroll down there.
See if I can find it. That's a heading, right?
It's past her.
Okay.
Keep on going.
Okay. Past here, right? Past everything can be hacked.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I guess everything can be hacked. I don't know. I just wanted to show everybody that these companies. Well, wait a minute. You're going too far.
I've been told that most of my life. So what?
Yeah. Okay. As always, especially the puns. But
okay.
Come on.
So what words am I looking
for? You're looking for the companies, all those companies. I wanted to show people that
right there.
There
you go.
Now, the one thing that stands out was, I know my son, for example, he was always messing around with Foursquare. Now, Foursquare came out as a social.
Yes,
I don't know. Something social? I don't know.
Yeah, I used it. I remember Foursquare. It was just like, kind of showing off where you're at all the time before it was a thing on Facebook or whatever.
Was it on Facebook? So we were all. I didn't do it. I didn't find any use for it. I didn't see it of any interest. But there is a set people were using Foursquare. So right then and there, we brought it on to ourselves. Now,
actually, you make a really good point, because how many times do you post something on Facebook or Instagram and you want people to know where you're at? You want to let them know you're at a specific location.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So Will and I were talking about it, and then I'm not trying to. What I gathered from reading this was, a little bit of we ran into the New York Times piece before back in May, George, and you and I think you and I kind of agree that the piece that we're reading, New York Times was trying to puff up their chest saying that what we're reading there, and then here too. I mean, they go into detail, but in the end of all this, if we want to enjoy these, this is the price we're going to have to pay.
I agree. And
to
happen, I think the government has to keep stepping in here, because I think this is the place the government needs to step in. And I'm usually not much for the government stepping in, but in this case, I am.
Right. And now my question is, I wish we had some people from Canada. I wish Nigel, of all people, what's it like over there? I would love to know what's it like in another country, dealing with
stuff like
that.
Like that's kind of. I think it's going to be the same everywhere, especially in any Western democracy. That's my guess.
I mean, these are companies here. Now, I'm going to assume that this news piece is pointing out American companies.
Yeah.
Are they global?
My guess is they are. You know what I'm glad about? There's no company here with the name Net, because with Skyhook there, if there was something Net there and then they hooked up, then you'd have Skynet.
Yeah. That would be scary. That would be scary though too. So it takes a little bit of the fun out of playing with these. If you
Well, hey, I'm not going to walk around thinking about this all the time, but
right,
this is
but
a
there's
scary
people
story.
do. There's people do, and they were the
Oh,
ones
yeah.
we come across when you
Oh,
try to show them this.
I think your brother Adam would walk around thinking about it a lot. You know?
Well, my brother Adam has such a just pure hatred for Facebook. That's about where he's at. I don't think he minds Google. Don't forget, he's got all these Google Homes around the house. He talks about, you know, so.
Yeah.
And they are even they weren't. I'm sorry, they weren't listening, and it was the Amazons.
Yeah.
But now, what is this location trying to? Are they selling our location for what though? Too, it never really went into.
Because if companies that want to know where you are, especially when it comes to going any place that's where you might go shopping or restaurant or whatever business, even an exercise facility, I guess, the more they know that you go to these places, the better shot they got of sending you an email or something to get you on the hook.
Well, they do that now. They do that now. Wait a minute, you go to visit a site. I mean, I picked up something. We don't want to reveal, but I picked up. Now I went to my Yahoo Mail, and there's the ad still showing up to this minute. I picked up, you know.
Yeah, and actually, I was.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was gonna say, like, have you guys ever used Google Opinion Rewards? Have you guys ever used that app?
Yes.
I use it every day.
Yeah. So I remember. I mean, I don't really use it as much anymore, but I used it recently, and it was like, hey, were you just recently at Vons, which is like I guess a grocery store here in California? Yeah. And then it was like, hey, do you mind taking a picture of the receipt? So you can show us what you bought? And it's like, wow, okay. So like, yeah. And then in turn, they give you what, a quarter or something?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, Jerome, I've been using Opinion Reward for, I guess, more than 4 years.
Sure.
I hadn't paid for anything from Google Movies in over 4 years.
Well, there you go. So
that is $87 sitting in there that I can use on Google Movies.
So that's the trade-off, right? You kind of give them a little bit of what's going on with you, and that's how they benefit. Yep.
So it is a win-win as long as you don't mind that they're tracking your every movement.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I don't mind. This story just seemed very much over the top to me.
It's tough because there's that population of people who say, well, what does it matter? I'm not doing anything wrong, so who cares?
And that's usually me, but this one
that's tough. Yeah, that's tough for me because it's still like privacy is still important for me. Like, yeah, I'm not this crazy person doing whatever like nefarious things that I need to like hide my privacy and hide my identity. But at the same time, it's like I still don't want to be taken advantage of. You know, I don't want somebody
you don't want them to know every single time you've gone to the gym.
Right, exactly.
I do. I want to know when. Okay.
And speaking of which, Mike, while you were talking about all these food you're going to be,
I know. I was getting it out of my system.
You're not going to be able to do that anymore, right?
I did. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
This one.
I still there's days left. I am taking full advantage. Advantage. Okay.
Time out. The man of the hour is here.
Hey.
What's going on?
Well, wow, he even take his coat off. He's not. Yeah. But guys, he had trouble with Gmail, so that means
George.
You had trouble. You have to go all Apple. Go with the Apple email.
George,
okay, just go with the Apple.
George,
everything that's Apple. They're going to track you anyway, so you might as well give it up. Okay, just go for it.
George, all I got from you was 2 keep notes. That's it. The last StreamYard link I got was Mike's on the 13th.
Will, it's one of those companies they took the email from you.
Well, both Jerome and Mike got it, so you're doing.
I don't know.
Yeah, look,
it's not in my Gmail.
All right, rookie.
All right. So, are we going to continue with the story? Are we done with the story? What do you think?
I'm sure Will has his 2 cents.
I was listening. I mean, they all track you, but yeah, that was a little extreme. I was listening to George.
I mean, Will, if it bothered me, it had to be extreme, right?
Yeah, I know, because George is like, Google, y'all can have whatever you want.
Exactly. So to me, it's just too much, I mean, if they're going into the Playboy place and they're tracking them every time, okay, well, I think we got a sex. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's also room for like blackmail, extortion.
Exactly.
Like that's just
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question then is, how far are we going to allow them to keep on? How much information or what they're going to use it against us for? That's where then the regulation needs to be kicked in.
Yeah, but here's the balancing act. On the one hand, I say this is the type of thing where the government needs to step in and put some pressure on these companies and put some restrictions on these companies. But the other side of that, as you say, how are they going to use it against us? Well, who would probably be the first people
The
in
government. The government's going to be the one to use it against you.
That's exactly right, Will. That's exactly. So there's a balancing act.
The government probably got them doing it. They probably told them to do it.
Let's hope not, but I'll bet you the government's one of the ones buying that data. That would surprise me. But in any case, so there's a balancing act here. But yes, we need some kind of more regulatory rules on these companies, because this is just, to me, way out of hand. And they were tracking these people for 2 years, man.
George, did you see there was just an article about the U.S. government and Google with the data.
With the what?
Google released like a lot of data to the government or something. It was just Mike. Remember, I was telling you it was on a guy was complaining.
Why?
I got to try to find it. It was on, somebody had posted it on Twitter, and they were like, I'm going to Apple because Apple doesn't do this. You know what I mean? Like Apple would tell the government they're not releasing it, and Google was.
Well, one of the first things that really, and keep in mind, this was when I was purely Android. One of the first things that really boosted my respect for Apple is when the FBI wanted to get in that phone of that husband and wife.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Apple said no, and I respected Apple for that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there.
So
anyway,
I just want to ask, when you guys get an app or get a new phone, you're setting it up, how far do you let it go? How far do you turn location services or stuff like that?
Yes, I do.
I usually do. And like, I think part of it is just, I don't want to be inconvenienced. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. But,
which is a really ignorant way of doing it. But yeah.
But I think it's great that in Android 10, they almost always ask you, do you want to leave this on all the time?
Well, the Android 10 is like that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is great. And I'm sure that's driven by the government pushing.
Yeah. So actually on my iPhone, it does that too. I have one of those tiles, right? I keep a tile in my wallet. And I know Apple has, or my iPhone has usually popped up and said, hey, do you just want to, it's still using it at this time. Do you just want to use it when?
Yes.
Yeah. So at least
did we have that same question pop up a year ago?
I don't know. I don't think
it's recent. I think it's been recent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, at least people are at least thinking about it and doing things about it. But
exactly. So I think that's good. Now here's a comment from Android Stud, and I don't get this.
We saw Will today at Best Buy. Will, what you do?
I mean, once you drink.
Wait, I think he's using location to know where Will is.
There you go.
And Stud's got to give us, is he one of those 4 or 5 companies in there that he's working on the side? I know he does his sports thing.
There you go, George. I found it. I found it.
Well, read it if you want to.
My bad. The headline, just the headline was Google hands Feds 1,500 phone location, 1,500 phone locations in unprecedented, what's it say? Geofence search. That's what he was talking about. Like Google just handed it to him.
I'm surprised Google would do that, considering their employers have been getting them to break contracts with the government.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right, so moving on. We got the Disney Plus story. We've got the Google, Apple, Amazon with the new smart home standard. We've got the one Will's gonna love. Snapdragon 865 beats Apple 813. So which story you guys want to go with? Shall we go with that story?
Yeah. Let me hear Will's take on it. Go ahead, Will.
Wait, let me get it up.
Let me find it. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me find it.
See, this is what happens, Will, when you're a turncoat.
Hold on.
I couldn't resist that.
I had that one. Hold on.
All right.
Hey, George, he deserves it too. Okay, that's all I got to say.
George,
I'm going to let Will read it.
Yeah, as soon as I pull it up. I thought I had it up already.
All right, I'll wait. We'll wait. This is well worth the wait, Will.
Oh, yeah, good. Sorry, Android it already. Yeah.
All right, this story is on Android Authority. All right, it's all yours, Will.
All right, finally, Snapdragon's 865 CPU beats the Apple 813. They must have. Yeah, I think I read this. They used the.
Keep in mind, this guy is the expert on this.
He used a particular test, George. Did you read the comments? But anyway, it is often said that.
Yes,
processors. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Often, Apple's processors are at least 2 generations ahead of the processors available for Android. Samsung, Huawei, and MediaTek all make powerful processors for Android devices, including the Samsung Exynos 990, MediaTek Dimensity 1000 5G. However, Apple's closest rival in terms of performance has often been Qualcomm with its Snapdragon range. Using my own test suite, Speed Test G. Oh, yeah.
Which he wrote.
God. Yeah. Last year's Snapdragon 855 has a similar performance to the Apple A11 processor found in the iPhone 8. But compared to the Apple A13 processor in the iPhone 11, the Snapdragon 855 is about 25% slower. But that is all about to change. 2 things happened this year that are vitally important. First, the performance increase from the Apple A12 to the A13, according to Speed Test G, was less than 5%. Second, the Snapdragon 855 has managed to deliver a real-world 20% speed boost.
865.
65, yeah, 855.
This stumble by Apple and the lead by Qualcomm means that now these 2 processors are starting to compete in the same class.
No, you're laughing already.
This is too funny because how long did it take them? But anyway, like they're proud. I guess they should be happy though. Qualcomm launched the Snapdragon 865 in early December 2019, and soon after its launch, it allowed some of the publications to test out the 865's performance using a Qualcomm reference device. The Qualcomm reference device is basically a prototype smartphone that Qualcomm builds for testing. It is bland in terms of aesthetics, but inside it contains a typical Snapdragon 865 setup, including the 5G modem, RAM, internal storage, etc. While others who were busy running Antutu and Geekbench on the Snapdragon 865 reference device, we set out running Speed Test GX 2.0. If you aren't familiar with Speed Test G, it is a test suite which I, Gary Sims, have written using the best parts of a traditional speed test, opening apps one after the other to see which device can complete the sequence first, along with the benefits of a traditional benchmark, CPU testing, GPU testing, etc. I built it due to my frustration with flaws found in traditional speed tests and consumers' lack of trust for benchmarks. If you want more information, then please check out the FAQ and watch the explanatory introductory video here. The full speed test GX 2.0 test is embedded below. If you want to have the satisfaction of watching the video and seeing the result, then stop reading and watch the video now, blah, blah, blah. Y'all want to keep reading it?
Okay, it's up to you.
I mean, Mike, you want to read any more or you just want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm at the part where it says Qualcomm reference device, Snapdragon 865. I got it. I'll keep going, Mike. For context, the Snapdragon 855.
Okay, I thought you were there.
The Galaxy Note 10 Plus completed the CPU section of the test in 45.3 seconds, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max finished it in 40 seconds. So the Note 10 Plus was at least 5 seconds behind the iPhone, but the Snapdragon 865 did much better. In fact, it beats the iPhone 11.
Hold on, let me see if I can get on Facebook in 2.5 seconds. Okay. Oh, there we go.
There, you're proving my point right here.
Okay.
Mike, you have to have an 865 phone.
In fact, hold on, Mike. In fact, the 865 whatever beats the iPhone 11. The 865 completes the test in 36.6 seconds, which is 20% faster than the Snapdragon 855 and 8% better than the iPhone 11. While Android authorities own C. Scott Brown is calling on all Android and Apple fans to permanently end the hate. The boost in the Snapdragon's performance should be celebrated as the playing field is now more level than ever. In terms of the GPU, the 813 still has the upper hand. The iPhone 11 Pro Max finished the 3D utility test in 14.5 seconds, while the Qualcomm reference device took 16.9 seconds. However, screen resolution is a factor. The reference device has a screen resolution of 1440 times 2880, which is 4.1 megapixels, whereas the iPhone uses 1242 by 2688, which is 3.3 megapixels. So the reference device is pushing more pixels around, meaning it is working harder.
It's true.
For those of you that like traditional benchmarks like Antutu and Geekbench, here are the kind of numbers that the Snapdragon 865 Qualcomm reference device can deliver. For Geekbench 5, single core and the QRD yield scores of around 935 compared to around 1330 for the iPhone 11. This means that a single core on its own of the 813 still offers better performance than a single core in the Snapdragon 865. But when you use all the CPU performance available, the Snapdragon 865 scores 3,450 for the Geekbench 5 multi-core compared to 3,480 of the iPhone 11, meaning that while Geekbench doesn't say that the Snapdragon 865 can beat the 813, it clearly shows now they're neck and neck. I don't know. Okay, y'all want to keep going?
I don't think there's no reason to really go through this whole thing.
The whole thing is stupid because you're comparing Snapdragon's brand new chip to Apple's chip from last year.
That's true.
The new Apple chip hasn't even come out yet.
The what?
Apple hasn't released their new chip. This is Snapdragon.
Okay, so this is for 2020.
All the way till December. Like they're excited. They're excited, but most people don't care about. Nobody's sitting there open side by side. Where Apple wins at is overall. Usually, iPhones perform better than Android.
That's true.
They're smoother. But it's just a smoother experience, which might be software, but that's what counts. If Apple can still put 3 gigs of RAM in their phone while Samsung's got 12 and OnePlus has 12 and Google's doing 6 and most other Android people are doing 8. So Apple is still embarrassing them.
Why is Apple so good at efficiency like that?
Because they control everything. They control the phone.
A whole lot better than everybody else.
Are they just really good at optimizing their software and hardware?
They make it all. They make all of it.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they make the whole thing. They're determined, but that's why I
Yeah, but look at Huawei. Who else is the second biggest manufacturer in the world and makes maybe the best phones or close to the best phones? Huawei. And what do they do just like Apple? They make everything themselves.
Well, yeah, they're taking a page out of their playbook.
Yeah, but the point is, it seems like if you do everything in house, you got a lot better chance of making an efficient phone.
And but they still don't. They still don't because they don't control Android. Apple's controlling everything. So the experience on an iPhone is still smoother. But this whole article is just funny because he had to go out of his way to develop his own test to make sure that Android can win. That's ridiculous. Like
Well, I don't think he was making sure. I think he was fair. But and in his defense, keep in mind, yes, it's Apple's older processor, but that thing has only been out in a phone since September. So
it's been out in a phone since September, but what's it called? The Snapdragon,
so
whatever.
2020, the 8
whatever just came out,
and the 13, they'll be evenly matched until September. You know.
I guess we'll see when they George, we'll see when the people sit there and tap the both apps at the same time and do all that. That's when
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
I don't care about all the numbers he be talking about because all that stuff don't matter when your phone still slows down.
No, you're right. You're right. It's app opening and scrolling through Twitter and stuff. That's where you the average person.
That's why I was like going. He was going through all these numbers. I'm like going.
I know. That's how I feel about it. It's just like,
But look at it from his point of view. The four of us are geeks about phones, and the average person isn't going there. He's a geek about all this tech stuff inside of phones, and we're not going there.
So you can't blame them. Yeah,
exactly.
And I mean, it's also hard. No, but that's the thing, because Will, if this test ran and it was still worse than the A13, you would be all over it. No.
Listen, if this test ran and it was worse, he would have never published the story. The story would have never came out.
We'd be reading from 9 to 5 Mac, okay?
About Andrew Tutu or whoever. Nobody would have never talked about it.
I think Gary's a straight up guy. I don't think he's that biased.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have.
But are we talking about the same chipset? This 865 that's going to be the 5G part of the 5G.
Yes, that's
right.
That's the chip that's going to have 5G built into it, and the only way you get 4G is if the manufacturer is added on.
This is okay. Wait a minute. I was going to say this is the same phone that Will and I were talking about, but no, it's not.
That
has the 855. Will, we were talking about the Note 10 5G.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. What happened was, George,
but I'm curious what they're going to do with how the heat, like. Will was talking about this one guy.
George, did you see the thing on Twitter? I don't know if I put you in there. There was a guy who was taking back his Note 10 5G, whatever that thing's called, Note 10 Plus 5G to T-Mobile. He was returning it because he said it got he had a picture of it or something. He was showing the guy in the store. It got up to 200 degrees, and he was like, "It's too hot and it don't work." Yeah. He was like, the technology work. I guess that's what Mike is talking about. He's saying, that's not the 865 chip, is it?
No, that's not. That's still the 855. But isn't in a bunch of stories, hasn't heat dissipation been one of the things that they say might be an issue for 5G? I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, well, that guy, he was pretty upset because they wouldn't waive the restocking fee or nothing, and he bought 2 phones.
Okay,
so he had recorded it.
But I'm thinking that'll be better in the 865 since the 5G is built into it. So, and I'm sure they must be addressing these heat issues when they made the chip.
I'm
looking at Andrew Studley's comment. Apple does use Samsung screen, but the chip and all that, they do it.
Yeah. And that's why they're so happy. In other words, they can be chipper.
Here we go. I should have a counter. There should be a counter somewhere for every time this happens.
Hey, Rodney Dangerfield was one of my favorite comedians, so you can understand why. Okay?
Gary Brown said OnePlus has 30 gigs of RAM.
But that is a good question though. What Jerome said. What makes Apple that more efficient? What's their secret sauce?
I think what
what I mean?
I
think is because almost everything is in house.
Because they control the software, Mike.
But if that was the case,
to run on that one thing. Google. That's what everybody thought Google was going to do.
That's really what I thought.
They thought Google was going to make their own chip and make Android, be flawless. And you see how that turned out with the Pixel. But just like everybody said, it's hard to do it. It's hard to, it takes time. But
Jerome, what you were going to say?
No. I mean, I was thinking, because I thought the same thing when I found out that Google was going to make the Pixel. I'm like, oh, they're finally just going to have everything together.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, and Will's right there too, because
I was waiting
they're
for Will
still
to
using the Snapdragon. So
it's Google. Come on now.
I I just I'm always gonna be that person that just has high hopes for Google and like
and they disappoint you every year, right?
yeah.
And it's not like a complete disappointment. They disappoint you in areas where it's like they shouldn't disappoint you there. You know what I mean? Like just like they did this year with the small battery. Like it's simple things that they mess up. It's terrible. It's terrible every year.
That they're not messing up while they're doing it too.
You know what though, George? It kind of makes me wonder. Like I remember, I don't think Jerome wasn't watching when me and you were going back and forth about the fold. Samsung putting the fold out. It's like they didn't even test it. Google must not test their phone. Like, how do you test that battery? And you know what I mean? Like that the
they
battery
tested. Wait a minute. They tested it. Remember, they had third parties walk around and go up to strangers and say, "Here, look at it here. Look in here. Wave in here." All right, we did the test. Let's go, guys.
Matter of fact, Mike, not even testing it. Like to look at your competition and be like, all right, OnePlus is putting out a phone for this much and their battery's this big, and Apple is doing this, and Samsung is doing this. Everybody was increasing their battery. Why would you come up with the Pixel 4 with such a small battery?
Wait a minute. This is coming from the same guy as wide angle. We don't want. You only want telephoto. Okay, they're like okay.
It's like Google is like, it's like they think that they're what do they say? What do people say in a vacuum? Like they're just by themselves. Like they do it like Apple does it, kind of. Like Apple just does their own thing.
Google, very Apple. You will like it because we tell you to.
Google isn't in a position to do that because Android is on so many different phones. Google can't do that because there's nothing on the Pixel that you can't get somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. Look at
Rishi's videos. Rishi, like every 2 days, he's got a new camera test with a new version of Gcam that is basically the Google Camera Plus on his I think he's got the 5G OnePlus now, but
he's got the 7T Pro.
How much was that phone, Mike? $599 on the 7T that he had? Yeah. Like,
you mean the 7T?
He's had all of them. So first he had it on the 7T, but I mean, like the Google is charging $400 more for the phone when you can just download Gcam. They can't. I don't see how they try to justify their price with the hardware decisions they make are terrible.
In fact, you've said all along they've released too much stuff to too many places.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that, George. That's aggravating.
Okay.
That's really aggravating. You know what though? I'm happy though, because at least Jerome understands, because Jerome's got a Pixel.
Yeah, I mean,
you got high hopes for him. You're like,
no, I've been through it. I've been through all of them. I've had every single. I mean, ever since the Galaxy Nexus, I've had every single one since then. And it's just, I mean, I will say the Pixel 4 is decent. The battery is a letdown.
But don't you think the 3A and 3 and
oh my God, Gary, come on, Gary, you gotta stop.
I think the 3A is the best phone they've ever made.
I mean, yeah, when we're talking about per dollar, yes, like I can totally see that.
Gary, you got to go watch Rishi's videos. You can't like.
Yeah, Rishi does.
I mean, it's nice to say that, but it's not okay. Even if you say they're not. You saying they're not close is crazy. They're too close. Like,
yeah, that's actually funny that because I'm reading that comment, and I used to do Gcam with the 6T and the 6 and like with the Pixel, and they were, I mean, as far as daytime shots, they were pretty spot on. If not, a lot of times the 6T came out better, at least in my testing.
Yeah,
I mean, I have videos. You can look at my videos on YouTube.
You gotta go watch the videos. It's crazy. It's aggravating though, because having a Pixel, it's like, what's the point? There's no. It's. I don't know. And now they're late. They're late with the software updates, and it's.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to me. You know.
Yeah, they're. I don't know.
Yeah,
Samsung is lapping
on my 3A today. Finally, you know.
Samsung, man.
Samsung is.
Can we talk about Samsung for 1 second? They're pushing the Android 10 on their S10 and and the Note 10. When did we ever would think we would see a day when they would have the next iteration of Android out before the year is out?
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody expected that.
I'm like going, what's this? What is this true? You know what I mean?
True.
What happened? Where did that come from? You know. Meanwhile, there's I can't help myself. LG. I would think LG. It's like they both switched. You know what I'm saying? They both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comments. Yeah, you see, he said it sounded like a number 5 at China Hut. Did y'all? Oh man, Android stud said the Pixel 4 XL is the phone.
Is the best. I never had it, so I can't say. But I will have to say, my wife's Note 10 Plus is really nice.
Mike,
really nice.
I love the Pixels, Mike, but they can't get it no more. Nah. It's missing too much, man. Not for that.
The 5 will. The 5 will.
Yeah, always next year. It's always next year.
Hey, wait, Jerome, and I'll make another bet and get another free burger. Okay.
Stock Android is like boring, and Samsung and everybody else is doing it so good that Google is like, there's no point, man. Google needs to do the $500 phones. They need to just do the 3As and the.
I agree. But I'll tell you what seems shocking about what Samsung is doing now, updating. It's almost like Google's playing catch up. It's weird, you know.
Google, I don't know. Google, they can't. It's like they can't catch up though. Not with the. I don't know.
Everything's going to get better once Facebook comes out with their own OS, okay? And we're going to have Facebook phones, and there'll be no problems. The camera's going to work great. They're going to be updates, and they're going to know when you took a fart, okay? You know what I mean?
Jerome, Android stuff said, what is the Pixel missing that doesn't make it phone of the year? What are you getting on? I'm trying to think of how to ask it. Like,
hey, I see the comment here.
What makes the Pixel better than any other phone to you at this point? Like, is it the updates?
So for me,
before I would say the camera, but now the cameras are so close that it's
here's the thing. And like because I think this week I want to work on a video for what I think is the phone of the year. But I will say that like I see there Android stud, like, you know, I see like wide angle, battery though, I think, you know, obviously that's a hamper, but I've done now a good amount of thorough testing on the Pixel and the iPhone, like the Pixel 4, the iPhone 11 Pro, and the iPhone 11 Pro is a better camera than the Pixel 4. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yes, we can talk about price. We can say that it's cheaper, but for like an all around phone, like as a person who owns a ton of Android phones, the iPhone 11 Pro is very impressive this year. That's how I feel about it. Like, yes, I don't really care for the UI much. You know, there are some things that I wish it could do better, but as an all-around phone, like, I don't even think the Pixel 4 really.
So, question: you don't think the 3A is a better phone than the Pixel 4? Because I do. I don't have a Pixel 4. But.
So obviously, a lot of this depends on what your priorities are, right? So if price is a higher priority than, you know, the camera or the battery or whatever, you know, it's different for everyone. Like,
I don't think the Pixel 3A is better than the Pixel 4 because of price. I think the Pixel 3A is better because it's a better made phone. From everything I see about people saying about the Pixel 4.
So and because I've never had a 3A, I wouldn't. It's hard for me to just say anything on it, you know.
You're on one end and I'm on the other. You haven't had one and I haven't had the other.
I mean, I've had the Pixel 3, right. But no, I've never had the 3A. So yeah, and that's the thing too, is like I've always had Snapdragon like 800 processors. So I wouldn't know how well performance works, you know, as I'm not a heavy user. I mean, I'm a heavy user, but like I don't use heavy intensive apps. So
the other day you described just
look what Android started saying.
No way. But I don't know. Yeah, I never had a 3A or whatever, but I don't know. I just don't think that the Pixel 4 is the phone of the year. You're not even. You can't even compare it to the iPhone, but even to like other Android phones, like Samsung software, it might have a lot of stuff that people don't like about it, but it's not like it's bad like it was before. And if you don't like the launcher, you can put lawn chair on it. Like that's the problem with that's the problem for the Pixel. You can get Google's launcher. You can change the stuff that you don't like about whatever phone, you can go get it somewhere else. You can get Google Camera on there, and you'll have wide angle, you'll have reverse charge, you'll have faster charging, you'll have, you know what I mean? So
we have different. Don says the 3A XL is good, but Android, Leo obviously does not like the A version. So.
He said it feels like a $300 phone, but the Pixel 4, the Pixel, Jerome, the Pixel 4 XL, what does that feel like it's worth to you? I've said no way that phone feels like it's worth $1,000. That's the thing. Nice, but it doesn't feel like $1,000.
Yeah, I've said it before, and I've said it in a lot of my videos. Is I think the Pixel 4 is overpriced. You know, like
yes, you have.
Here's the thing. You give a person who knows nothing about phones, like they don't know what an iPhone is, they don't know what a Pixel is. You're telling me if I give somebody an iPhone 11 Pro and a Pixel 4, they're going to say that the Pixel 4 is a better quality feeling phone, a better.
No way.
No
way.
No, it's not. We know that's not true.
But right.
It doesn't. I never felt the 3A. I don't think I ever felt one, but 4 feels like it's made of plastic to me.
Yeah, and some other people have said the same thing. Well, I haven't.
If a 3A is made of plastic, it's the same. There's no, you know what I mean? It's not like it's heavy. It doesn't have no.
You know what they said about it? It is plastic, but it doesn't feel like it much of the time. So.
Like don't get me wrong. Like I'm not here to bash on the Pixel. I've owned every single one. Like I've been loyal to the brand for a long time. Like I still think it's a great phone. There are a lot of no. Listen. They've taken their price of their phone and they've jacked it up so much, and they're not justifying that price. That's how I feel about it. Like again,
it with nothing though. They're not. They didn't put. There's nothing on that phone that makes it worth even $700, while you can get a OnePlus for $499. All the phones are overpriced. I see Gary saying the Note isn't overpriced, but for the price that you pay for the Note, let's make all the phones equal. For the price that you'll pay for the Note, if they're all the same
about
price, if they're all the same price, the Pixel, you can't. There's no justification to pay that much more for it. I mean, besides personal preference, besides just liking it, it doesn't feel better than an iPhone 7 or like phone you like the OnePlus 7T. It doesn't feel better than that. Like the material feel better, but all the phones are overpriced. But Google, what they're giving you in software doesn't justify their price. Like they didn't give you a wide angle camera, which wide angle isn't like you don't have to have it, but to charge you $1,000 for it and still not have it is like, I don't see how anybody can say that's like they should get a pass for that.
Look at what Jerome has said in his videos over and over again. He wasn't big on wide angle in the beginning, and now he finds himself using it a lot, right, Jerome?
That's true. I mean, it's something that, again, I thought was maybe gimmicky, and then I find myself, I use it all the time. It's one of my favorite features.
Exactly. And I think that's true of most of us. Once you start using wide angle, you miss it when you don't have it.
There you go.
For all the years the iPhone didn't have wide angle, everybody was like, Android's had wide angle for years. Now Google comes out with 2 phones in a row. They didn't put wide angle on it, and everybody's like, it's okay.
No, it's
not.
Me.
All right. That's you can't excuse that when you got phones that are hundreds cheaper and they have wide angle or 4K at 60 recording on the back.
Wait.
Like,
Will and I are agreeing. I'm coming to listen.
Mike, we want to casserole because we enjoyed your agreeing. You got, yeah, that's you can't. Like,
I'll write
that's,
this down.
that's terrible, man. They let the iPhone do something for that's bad when the
Wow,
iPhone.
wait, but Android said the Note 10 Plus is overpriced.
That's
Wait a
what
minute.
No, they're saying because Jerome said that the Pixel's overpriced. Like all the phones are overpriced.
All the
But
phones are overpriced.
how can you go to the store? Like
except
like,
the budget phones.
it's hard to look at the Pixel.
There you go.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean the Nokia phones are not overpriced. The Moto phones are not overpriced.
Right. Sure.
What do you say?
So
Like Jerome was saying, it doesn't. It's like it's overpriced and it doesn't feel the amount that it's worth. At least the Samsung phone. If you feel that phone, it's like, all right, I can tell this phone is expensive. You wouldn't mistake that for a $500 phone.
I mean that's true because yes, like specs mean a lot, right? Specs mean a lot, but it's just I don't know, man. If I'm spending a lot of money on the phone, I want it to be a really nice phone on the outside too. I mean that's a thing.
Exactly. Well, Grant is making a good point here, I think. Okay.
What they invested in? Motion sense is useless.
I
Who would even think that you're gonna put motion sense in a phone, so now you can't sell it to India? Like that's stupid. Google is.
This one I agree with Leo and I agree with Grant. I think the whole motion thing is ridiculous.
That thing is it's bad. It's bad. And the fact that the phone still doesn't have apps that open with the face thing is
face thing. It's called face unlock.
Man,
the face.
You don't even gotta name it because it's yeah.
But what's this now? What's he saying? iPhone 7 comes on, man. Restart your stream. What the?
iPhone 7 come on.
What is he talking about?
I don't know.
Who? Somebody. Will, didn't you mention the iPhone 7? I think you did.
No. Mm-mm.
Somebody.
I don't know.
But
all right.
I don't know. I don't see. Mike, what do you think the phone of the year is?
What did I think the phone of the year is? That's
I
still.
I know what you're gonna say. I know it's the OnePlus.
I know what I'm gonna say because I'm still using 2 of them in my daily drivers.
I have to say it's hard because this is a nice phone. This is a really nice phone, and after playing around with my wife's Note 10 Plus, that's really.
Mike, don't just say this is a really nice phone. Tell people what phone you're holding.
This is a OnePlus 7T, which the majority of the room should know. Yeah, but it's got the Oreo cookie in it. Okay, without the cream center.
Okay, all right. Okay. So you're saying this is a nice phone, but what?
But after playing around with my wife's Note 10 Plus, that's a really nice phone too. So, and never having yet the mess. I didn't get the Pixel 4. I kind of wanted to, but I held off.
Hey, let me ask you, Mike, because I don't have a 7T, I don't have a Note 10, but like in terms of quality, like what seems like a more solid phone? I'm not talking about the actual use of the phone, but just like quality wise.
You're asking what seems more premium, basically.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
I think the 7T. Well, you see, that's a hard question because I went from the 6 to the 7T, and both of them have felt premium phones, no matter what. They feel premium. They operate premium. I know that I can get great shots, but I always still will admit, in my review though, I point out there was a few times I can't get the camera right, but I'm willing to work around that because I love to go pick up the phone. The face unlock is great. The just the fluidity of the phone and everything else, but then. My wife I get her the Note 10 Plus, and I'm setting it up. I'm like going, boy, this is nice. Wow, look at this. And that's
really, what I was.
Mike is like, wow,
that screen on there,
ridiculous.
That screen is ridiculous. It is gorgeous.
That's kind of what I was just getting at. I was just,
what I mean. Let me just tell you, my wife was doing it on her Note 9, but. With the watch TV, she puts that little thing up on top of something, and she's in there baking cookies right now for the holidays. and she's watching TV. I'm like going, damn, that's better than the TV I got, the 75-inch I got sitting in the living room.
How about what if the Note 10 Plus hardware with like Pixel's clean UI? Wouldn't that be perfect? Or no?
Woo, yeah. That would be that's a potent combination there.
Yeah.
That's a real potent yeah.
Because even if you put Google Launcher on, I'm sorry, I know I'm probably straying away.
No.
But part of me just feels like even if you put lawn chair or whatever on a Note 10 or whatever, it's still not exactly the same, is it? I haven't really messed with it in a while.
You can get the swipe over and have Google Home on the side. Like I know for me, if I use a Samsung phone, usually I'll be like, I don't like the launcher. When I had the Note 10 Plus and I had the Pixel, remember Mike?
About 2 weeks.
I told you I would change the launcher and be doing all that. But Samsung software isn't like it. It's not like it used to be. If I put if I went and put lawn chair on it, I could have used the phone because I would have had my swipe over and had the Google pull down because I don't like Samsung's app drawer. I don't like.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
I would have had my app drawer like Google's. I could have switched my icons, and I would have had wide angle. I would have had faster charging. I would have had the Dolby Atmos sound. Like you can't. To me, that's why the Pixel shouldn't be priced where it's at. Because the other phones offer so much more, double the storage, and Google's not giving you the free backup or whatever no more. What's the point?
That's true. I forgot about that.
How are you going to take away a selling point of your phone?
I'm leaving this comment up for a reason. Anybody want to answer Gabor's question?
It depends.
No 10 Plus.
It depends what you want. To me, for longevity, I would go with the iPhone. Because the iPhone is going to get way more software updates.
Yeah, going to get updates forever.
It just depends on what you want. Otherwise, I would go with the Note.
But you're looking at a $600 difference. Yeah,
it's a big. Yeah, but George, if you buy the iPhone, you won't. Not that you have to buy another phone, but if your thing is updates, you don't got to buy another iPhone for like 7 years.
Yeah,
you're going to hold on to a phone. The iPhone.
Your phone turned into $200 a year. That's it. Versus the Note, which probably will get maybe one more update.
Yeah, I saw Leo's last comment there.
You know how to massage your IR.
It doesn't work. Nah, man. You put that lawn chair on a Mike, you should do it. You should make a video, Mike. Mike, you got a Galaxy. Go get
Oh my God, Grant, I'm just seeing that. Grant, if they brought Google Play Edition back, I would be so happy. Oh my God.
No,
I would be so happy.
You got the Play Edition. It's called an Android One.
They said, but they said they want no, because he wants the Samsung build.
I do. That's what I want.
The Samsung build with the Google software.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Is there a ROM? Somebody can go put a ROM in it, Think about it.
Oh, on a Samsung. Yeah, you probably could. They say that I think they weren't selling that well. That's why they stopped doing
That's a shame. Yeah.
I know they were nice. They were, man.
Look at Leo comments.
Yeah, that was my favorite comment by Leo right there because I can agree with that.
That's a very sexist comment.
It doesn't work. An ugly girl. Oh my God.
It works. It works good enough, man. It works good enough. Mike, you got it. Well, Mike, you've done it before. You've put Google software on.
Yeah, I did it on my wife's Note 9 for a little bit.
Leo was hot tonight.
Yeah,
He's worked up about the Pixel talk. I don't blame him. Mike, I don't blame him.
Mike, how did you like it? Like, did you feel like you had a Pixel? Like, what were you missing? And if I do it all the way,
I set it up as the Pixel. My wife seemed like at the time she liked the Pixel UI, so I set it up with for her, and it was nice. But you still came across all the Samsung apps that were in it. Well, you still had to put up with them.
Like what though? You just hide them. You mean the like in terms of like the bloat?
Yeah, the bloat.
See, I would just hide the apps that I didn't want, and then use the features of the Samsung phone that I like, because on Samsung you get the built-in screen recorder, Dolby Atmos, the sound thing. there's so many features on that phone that are good
Yeah.
that aren't like bloat. I mean, they had the game mode, like Google there. It's a now where Google software is so behind that their major updates are like to Assistant because they're like playing catch up. Like they don't have a screen recorder yet. There's no scrolling screenshot. Like they got to catch up to where everybody else is at, and they're investing in the system, which is good. But knowing Google, they're going to put those same features on every other Android phone, making the Pixel more worthless. You'll be able to have screen record, or whatever. What's that thing called? Call screen on your Galaxy soon. They can't help themselves.
It's going to happen. It's true.
Because the reason is because they don't sell enough pixels to get whatever data that they want, so they're going to put it on every other phone.
Because they're not selling pixels.
Yeah, they don't sell enough of them.
But what's the standard?
Mike, if you put all that time into making call screen or one of them, those nice features, why would you want it on only such a little bit of phones? It don't make sense. So they got to put it out to everybody else.
What was it? What was the one that we want all bonkers? This is going back to Marshmallow days. I think they came out with a feature, and all of a sudden they released it. Was it what? It was Android. Was it Assistant?
Duplex, probably.
No. We're talking back in Marshmallow.
Oh, well, maybe Assistant. Maybe that's when the first came out.
Yeah.
Make it sound like Assistant was going to be a Pixel exclusive for like a month.
But then all of a sudden, everybody could get it.
Yeah, everybody else had it. So it's I don't know. It's tough to Jerome. If you go to your group of friends and you got a Pixel, what do they? You know what I mean? Is everybody like, why do you prefer that phone over a Galaxy? You like, what do your peers? What do your peers usually have? Like Galaxies or iPhones or what?
So I think most of the friends that I know, so there's a good amount that have Pixels because of me, but there's also a good amount that just have iPhones. So, but I'm talking about older Pixels, not the 4 now, but like the 2. Huh?
Are they still your friends?
Come on,
I didn't mad at you.
They're still decent phones. Come on now.
They don't complain about the phone like I could have got a Galaxy or you know what I mean.
I don't. I think some do.
I don't recommend like the Pixel to nobody that's my friend. I'll be like, go get an iPhone or go get a Galaxy or
what?
Because no, what? I don't, Mike. Because listen, for the price, I don't.
Why? Why would you not recommend a 3A to your friends? Why would you recommend a 3A?
Wait, a 3A, yeah. But I'm talking about like a Pixel 4 or a Pixel 4 XL. No. A 3A, right. Yeah.
So you left them out of the conversation. How could you leave that out of the conversation?
I already had it. I bought Pixel 3As because of me, and they loved them.
Mike, a cheap phone, yeah, but now I'm talking about like a flagship Pixel.
A cheap phone. Cheap phone. When people got $1,000 in their pocket and will flip it out, I'm gonna go get an iPhone.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Come on, man.
If somebody told me they wanted to buy a flagship price phone, I wouldn't tell them to buy a Pixel.
No wonder you can afford buy me burgers on a bet.
I would steer them in the direction of an iPhone or a Galaxy. I wouldn't tell nobody to buy it.
In regards of a flagship, right? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Yeah. I would recommend an iPhone 11. Not the XL because of the price. I would recommend an iPhone 11.
When you talk to people and tell them the prices of these phones, and then go, well, there's this other phone over here called a Pixel 3A XL. You get it for $479. Their eyes light up.
Hey, Today, a flash camera comparison between the iPhone and the Xiaomi Mi A3, $174 right now. And one guy thought it was 50-50. It wasn't that far difference,
I'm sorry. I can't.
What?
I'm looking at it. I was going to point to a phone, but it's not there.
Yeah, like I tell somebody to get a OnePlus or over a Pixel.
I don't know that Bodo phone.
Mike, we're not talking about like the budget. I'm talking about if somebody told me, should I get a Note 10?
I know, but come on.
I'll be like, get the Note. Or if they say, should I get an iPhone or a Pixel 4? I'm gonna be like, get the iPhone because there's nothing in the Pixel that makes it worth that. Like the camera is subjective. Like that's it. Software updates, they're late now. They're behind with the updates. You know, Google is slipping, man. Google.
Well, you want to talk? We'll talk about another company that's slipping on updates. How about my OnePlus company, the one I really like and love, that can't get a damn update out for the
Why is this a thing?
Why is it a thing? I paid a premium price for my 6.
I know.
I want updates. I want my 10.
That's what I'm saying. Why is this a thing? Should we go over that story?
I just seen an update to something. They were saying that they were just. I swear, I just seen like a new thing saying something about that update coming.
Yeah, it's probably another beta.
Wait a minute. You saw something else?
I thought I saw something too about it, about the 6T, right?
Yeah.
6 and 6T, rolling out
Wrong directions.
10.0.1 update, and then it says 10.3.0. That's from Android Police. Let me see. Reports have been trickling in for the last couple hours that the stable Android 10 update for the OnePlus 6T has been rolling out, apparently without any fanfare or an associated announcement at the OnePlus forums. This is on Android Police, George.
Okay,
as is customary. In addition to bringing all the Android 10 features, you can expect the Oxygen OS 10 update for the 6T also includes the company's game space feature and the contextual display ambient display feature. This timing corresponds to the best case scenario for the company's initially projected roadmap, which claimed that the OnePlus 6T and 6 would get Android 10 sometime in November. Today being the first of the month would be the earliest that this could. Oh, okay, wait. So let me see. When did they update it? This was
a while ago.
Yeah, they updated it now. They updated this on 12/19.
Oh,
They're saying
I should check my 6T
yesterday.
10.3. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's coming. Because I'm seeing all those articles, Mike. Everybody was bashing OnePlus.
Yeah, there was one from Android Police. Somebody put it out there.
So I guess they got back on their game.
Wait. So it's officially out or no? Or it's coming?
Let me see what's the latest update. It looks like it's.
I turned on my 6T day before yesterday. I didn't have an update yet.
Says here it says in this 9 to 5 Google Oxygen OS 10.3.0 is Android 10 repackaged and added fixes for the OnePlus 6 and 6T. Oh yeah, that's today.
Can't y'all get what's it called? Oxygen Updater and get the update from the Play Store?
I haven't used that in a while.
That's what I did when I had the 7 the 7 Pro.
Really?
Yeah, I would just get Oxygen Updater and download it and then do it that way.
Yeah, push it that way.
Yeah, the last update says it says it's coming. Digital well-being is coming.
Well, there was
update is rolling out now. This was at.
I'm going to take a look at my 6T.
Yeah, I want to do it later. So, and what's this?
That's what they said. Use Oxygen Updater, and you'll get. So I guess it's
I will.
Get it.
Let's see. It mentions all these different enhancements and updates.
Y'all got to see the story. They posted a funny meme about LG.
I haven't downloaded Oxygen Updater yet, so I guess I'll have to do that tomorrow.
Hey, anybody want to go through the list of people in the room and give them a shout out?
Go for it, Mike.
I see My Project 13. Anthony, thank you for stopping by. We see we have another Anthony. Yeah, we got Anthony Knight, Knight Tech. He's here. Thank you.
We have an East Coast. We have a Portland, Oregon Anthony.
Yeah.
Open in New York Anthony.
Right. Don Braun. Don's always stopping by. Thank you very much. Who else?
Let's mention Gabor because he's been making some good, insightful comments here. And every time I highlight one of his comments, look at his picture. I don't know if it's the smile, but he sure reminds me of The Rock.
It is The Rock. I think he got The Rock.
Yeah, that is The Rock, isn't it?
That is The Rock. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
If you're gonna take somebody and make them your avatar, that's a good one to have, you know. And Android Stud, of course, man. Android Stud holding up the Pixel Team Pixel for everybody. So
Yes, he is. And who else?
Galaxy got the Pixel beat this year.
Well, Miss Lisa was in here way back, and of course Gary
Mm-hmm.
Brown is in here, and Grant is in here.
Oh yeah. Now, I just want to just
Jerome, do you got a Galaxy?
No. So the last Galaxy I've had was the 9. So I will be getting the 11 though.
Yeah, I'm,
sure.
I'm still rocking my S10e. So
yeah, you got to compare it with the.
yeah,
with the Pixel. I want to hear what you think about it.
Yeah. No, when the 11 comes out, I mean, I'm looking for. I'm just worried about the whole 5G thing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll just test it for the camera, and then if the 5G thing isn't any good, then I'll just return it.
Yeah. George, we got an article in here about that, right? AT&T's 5G. AT&T's 5G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Let me pull it up. Yeah, and one reason I like who's gonna take it?
I'll take it.
All right. Give me a time to get it up. I'll tell you as you go through it why one of the reasons that I liked it.
Which story are we looking at?
I'm reading Gary Brown's. I want an iPhone now. I want to see how iOS 13.6.8.0.6.7 is.
Gary, at least they all get the update at the same time, unlike the Pixel.
Yeah,
that was one of the promised features of the Pixel, and the Pixel 4 is like 4 weeks late every time now.
All right, so I want to read here.
All right, I got it.
You ready?
This is on the Verge.com. Yeah,
my favorite subject, 5G. I just love it. Okay. AT&T. That's Will's favorite carrier. Low band. Finally, you got him out of there.
You know, I finally broke free.
AT&T low band 5G network is officially launches to all customers in 10 cities. Woohoo!
Man.
5G AT&T really 5G network is finally launching today as the company starts to sell the $1,300 Galaxy Note 10 Plus 5G and flips the switch for all its customers within coverage areas and not just selected business partners to start using the next generation network. When the AT&T announced the launch last month, it promised its 5G network would be coming to 5 cities. In the interim, the company managed to double that list to 10: Birmingham, Alabama, Indianapolis, Indiana, Los Angeles, California, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, PA, Providence, Rhode Island, Rochester, New York, San Diego, California, San Francisco, California, and San Jose. Coverage maps for these cities are available here. So support for 5G requires that the customer to have either an AT&T Unlimited Extra or Unlimited Elite plan for a mere $75 or $85 per month per line.
Wait,
it's so
Mike,
expensive.
I told you T-Mobile was charging me $70 for one line, so you can't really complain. It's not like they're charging you. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's not that much.
Well, that's a single line.
For 4G, they were charging me the same thing. So,
but it be offering no extra charge for those customers. They're going to, in other words, if you have that plan, you can get 5G. Long as you have a 5G phone,
which tells you it's going to be more for other customers.
Yeah. Using 5G data will only count towards the unlimited plan's throttling caps at 50 gigs and 100 gigs of total data usage, through which means you could burn through those limits pretty quickly.
And I would guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah. As a reminder, AT&T has 3 different brands for 5G. 5GE, fake 5G, actually just updated to LTE. 5G.
What I was yelling all last week. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. An actual 5G, actual 5G, but using low band 850 megahertz spectrum technology that was broader range but slower speeds than millimeter wave, also known as sub-6 in most, similar to T-Mobile's recent launch of 600 hertz network. 5G
Which is what I
plus.
was saying all last week, that they're doing a smart thing starting with the low band. Well, AT&T is doing the same thing.
Well, it looks like AT&T also has millimeter wave. 5G.
So does T-Mobile, but they're both releasing 600 hertz.
Based on high band radio frequency, it's the fastest and shortest range 5G that AT&T launched last year, but only for select businesses and developers. Today's launch is the middle type, the low band 5G network that will effectively serve as a backbone of AT&T's 5G coverage across the country. Millimeter wave 5G plus flavor of 5G has been around for a year and is live in parts of 23 cities so far.
And the key word of that is in parts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like at stadiums. The extreme limited range of millimeter waves and its relatively poor accessibility to pass through buildings makes it tough to offer, on a broader level. But AT&T still isn't open that high band spectrum to customers just yet. Instead, promise that millimeter wave will come at a later date.
2021.
Like T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? You have a good yes. When Apple gets their 5G in 2021,
that's when
and
that's when it matters.
AT&T's going to be riding that pony hard.
Remember when Apple didn't
3G.
hop on the 4G right away? Like
Yeah.
they didn't, and then when they did, that's when it became. I mean,
when Apple does it,
they
that's
bucked the
when it
trend.
matters. That's when it matters, when Apple does it.
and that's what we're right. Yep. At least in the U.S.
Yeah. Let's see.
There you go. At least in the U.S. True.
Where AT&T strategy with 5G will ultimately be very similar to T-Mobile's plan. Pair slower low band sub-6 coverage with faster, more localized millimeter wave spectrum for an area that need the extra bandwidth, like popular tourist spots, sports stadiums, and alike. AT&T said that these 10 cities are only the beginning of promising that low band 5G availability will continue rapidly expand, calling out Boston, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Buffalo, Las Vegas, Louisville, and New York City as a specific locations as it works out towards a wider nationwide rollout in 2020.
Okay.
So that was a bunch of hogwash right there.
Based on that,
Mike,
I
you
think
can't say that, Mike. This is like the same strategy T-Mobile's taking, right?
Yeah,
exactly, except T-Mobile launched it all over the whole country while they're going city by city.
I wish
I
wish
what?
somebody.
So we need
I wish,
somebody who has AT&Ts and T-Mobiles. I think they're both slow. I think I did see on Twitter somebody said it's slow too. So,
Well, let me
slow.
ask though. Do you have you guys or is there anyone you know who's actually used it in a stadium? Because that's one of my biggest gripes is like when I'm watching, if I'm like watching a Bulls game or something at United Center and like I can't get any kind of internet.
Yes, supposedly it's supposed to be a lot faster, but I don't know anybody who's using those systems. Although Rishi is saying now he's getting 5G in his apartment with the low band a lot, seems like regularly now in Jersey City.
George, you got a new guest.
I just want to know if it actually works better in like really crowded areas.
Yeah, no thanks.
That name is ridiculous.
At least he likes it.
These people are crazy. Oh my God. How does he find you, George? He must be a fan.
Whatever. I'm good.
Where is this guy? He always shows up.
He showed up about a month ago or so.
About a month ago, yeah. It was about a month ago, yeah.
He says he loves the show. Night Tech says he has a McLaren. I remember him talking about that. Night Tech.
And so does Reese.
Yeah. I was wondering. He's what is it? Albany? He's in.
Yeah, he's in Albany. Yes.
I was wondering if he could just post how's his speeds where he's at.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday that Rishi said in Jersey City he's starting to get good speeds in Jersey City inside his apartment. So. And that's the knock against millimeter wave. You wouldn't get that in an apartment.
Well, I'm still skeptical.
I don't like
about
none of it.
I don't like none of it either. I'm just.
Hey, if I had the money to buy that McLaren, I would buy it to try it. All right, so do we want to go on to the OnePlus security updates, or do we want to go with the Google app, Apple and Amazon with the smart home standard, or do we want to go with the Disney Plus versus Apple TV?
We already know how Disney Plus turned out versus Apple TV.
God, I have a free year of Apple TV. I don't even think I've opened it yet.
Oh,
no?
I'm using
it. It's good. It's all right.
No, it's not that. Yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm just
too much stuff to watch.
Yeah, I guess I just haven't been streaming as much lately. I kind of just stay on YouTube.
Me, I have it already, and I've got a favorite show, but it's not the favorite show that's on any of these lists.
George, what are you watching on there?
I'm watching For All Mankind. I love that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm watching the morning show. I got to catch up on it. The morning.
Is that show good? The morning show, is that good?
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right.
It looked like it was going to be good, but I tried to watch the first episode, and by the time she got through about 10 minutes worth of cursing, I knew I couldn't watch it.
I knew George wouldn't like that one.
I can't take it.
What else? The one show, it would be, the idea of the show is good, but the lady that they got acting as the main character, one of the main characters, it's called Truth Be Told. The guy from Breaking Bad. What's his name? He's in it.
What's
his name?
Dang. Are you talking about?
You have a phone in your hand.
Yeah.
Jesse he's one of the main characters in it. But to me, the one who plays like the opposite of him, it's like it's so cheesy the way she acts. So that kind of throws you out of it. But I've been watching that.
But isn't C supposed to be the big show from Apple at the moment?
I didn't even watch that.
I watched a little bit of it. Didn't appeal to me. You know.
Wait, is that the one with was it Jason Momoa?
It's the one with the post-apocalyptic world where everybody's blind.
Yeah. I guess I should at least use it. I mean, I have a free year.
You should take advantage.
The world that I use it. Will mentioned that, and I finally said, "Well, I got it free for a year. I might as well use it." So I started.
They might come out with something good, I guess.
Yeah,
eventually they might hit something that'll be all right.
That's the thing, though. So that's I think that's kind of why. So I used to have Netflix. I used to have YouTube TV. Those were the two that I used, and then I shared like a HBO, and then now there's Disney, and then Hulu, and then Apple TV, and it's just like I don't have money for every single one of these, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna stop watching TV, and that's really what's happened.
I stuck with YouTube TV. I love YouTube TV, and it has everything I need. You know.
Yeah.
I already got it in my schedule to cancel it. It's already in there, so I'm not keeping it.
I dropped the TV service, and I went to YouTube TV.
Yeah, I think
you were still using TV, Mike?
No. There was a streaming service. It started off as DirecTV Now, streaming service.
Okay.
And then they raised their prices to the point where I'm like, I might as well just go to YouTube TV, and I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
I stuck with it only because it was cheap, and I just got tired of it just constantly not working. She's trying to record shows. It doesn't come on. So
Sure. Yeah,
so
it's funny that there's still people who are still like they haven't cut the cord. My mom hasn't cut the cord.
Yep.
Yeah, she won't cut the cord. It's because she has like certain channels that you can't get elsewhere. So I don't know.
Because actually, just today, YouTube TV added 2 news channels.
yeah, they did. Yes, my wife showed that to me.
PBS and something else. Oprah Winfrey's network.
See, that's the thing. I quit YouTube TV when they raised the price because then they went from 35 to 50.
Yeah, but they've been 50 the whole time, and
That's good at least. Yeah.
And that's still about $80 cheaper than when I had it with the company.
Yeah, and I used to share it. I used to have because you could put like 6 accounts on it, so it was $50 divided by 6 people, and it was still decent. Yeah.
Can you still share it now?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe you can, but of course, me being me, I don't want to share it. I'd rather.
Well, no. But the thing is, George, when you share it, it's under your own Gmail account, so that nobody sees what you're watching, or it doesn't mess up your recommendations.
Oh, no? Okay,
that's great.
So if any of you want to share, no, I don't. I really don't need to be spending money right now.
No, I'm trying to get mom off. I'm to talk about your mom. I'm trying to get my mom. And Comcast is just horrible.
Yeah, and also for like my mom, I'm Filipino, right? So my mom watches the Filipino channel. Whenever they're not gonna put that on streaming ever. So.
Same thing over here. That's why I still got cable because I paid.
Well, same thing.
I already told Mike $25 a month. If they had the Filipino channel, I would have been killed Comcast.
Wait, you watch the Filipino channel?
No, my wife's mom does. My wife. Yeah.
So you understand. That's exact. That's like me going home. That channel is on 24/7.
Mike, we're gonna find out next that their moms talk to each other.
I also wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Jerome, I told Mike like 3 months ago, like $25 a month, you can have every channel, but it doesn't have the Filipino channel. Ask me if Mike came over to figure out how to do it yet. And he's talking about cutting the cord, and I told him, Mike, you'll get pay-per-view.
I'm leaving. Goodbye, guys. I'm going over Will's now. Okay.
all the pay-per-view, all the Hallmark, and what's that other channel you said your wife watched? You get all of them.
Hallmark. Oh my God.
Hallmark.
Yeah.
You get all of them.
Yeah.
There's like 4 Hallmark channels, like 6 Lifetime channels. You get everything.
You get addicted to those. Yeah.
Well, one reason I love YouTube TV because it's got every sports station that I want to see, and they have lots of sports stations.
YouTube TV did a good job there. I don't know how much they ended up paying, especially Comcast, because they own they own a ton of sports stuff. So yeah.
But I get all the ESPNs. I get the tennis channel. I get to see all the F1 races. I get to watch all of the Fox sports. So I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go.
Mike, I'm going to invite you to the Facebook group.
Okay.
It's a closed group, but I'm going to invite you.
They'll only get hacked anyway. That's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Well, as long as you don't get hacked off.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna invite you right
All
now.
right, go ahead, invite me.
I'm inviting you right now so you can see.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they run it like it's legit. You would never know. You would never know.
Is that an IP? Is that one of those IP services?
Yeah.
Oh, well, great. The feds will be here. Great. The feds will be here knocking on my door.
I get all of them. I done watched so many fights on there and UFC and everything. That thing saved me a fortune.
I know you get into those fights and all.
I told you, Mike, I could give you the thing. You can sign on and try it. You just got to get the app. You got to either get a Fire Stick or use the Android TV box you got, or use your phone. You can use your phone.
Yeah.
You pull up
all
the
what are you doing tomorrow? Come on over. Show me. Come on over. I'll send you home with a box of cookies, Curtis.
Sunday, my kids got
Jerome, these guys don't live 20 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I know. And like, I wish I lived closer to Mike because he keeps talking about food, and I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you fattened up, and then you'll have to.
I would just come over every day for dinner, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not gonna lie.
you caught Mike at the right time because starting next month, Will is going to take all his food away from him, right, Will?
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, Mike's gonna police himself. He's got it. He's got a plan already.
Mike and Will are joining a gym together next
He
month.
already
Oh, yeah.
strategized.
There you go. There you go.
We're gonna go to the gym. We're gonna slim down this sexy body even more. Be a lean, mean face. I'll be that guy in The Rock. I'll be that. I just will have my hair. Okay.
Remember, 90% of it is in the kitchen. So you could do the gym all day, but if like you're making casseroles all day, Mike, I don't know.
Yeah, but Jerome,
this is the end. This is the end. Mike's got to get out of the system.
38 years. What I found out about 15, 20 years in, if I exercise enough, I can eat or drink anything I want, anytime I want, and that's
You're right, but there's also the facts that like eating a donut sometimes takes like a 2-mile like walk to get off that donut.
Yeah, just a donut. Yeah,
and I exercise 6 days a week, so it allows me to do whatever I want. Yeah.
Perfect. There you go.
Mike, you got to go to that donut place with me before January.
yeah. I don't know if you posted it on Instagram or something, but man, there was a box of donuts. He was like going, I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I gotta come visit you guys so you guys can take me out to like your favorite food places because that's
I'll make some casseroles for you too.
Oh, that I'm actually like counting on that. So
okay,
yeah. Food place will be Mike's house. You know. By the way, any of you guys do resolutions? I don't do any, so I just wondered you guys. Nope. I just figured out years ago resolutions stupid. They never work, and I just stopped doing them.
I don't know if you want to call it a resolution. I'm just saying I'm going to the gym. I got to change my ways.
That's the thing I feel about resolutions is like, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting until January? Just do it now. Like,
wait. What are we in? We're in the eating season. Look,
see, that's the biggest excuse. That's everyone's excuse.
Get him, Jerome. I like it.
Mike, don't. You're not gonna win this discussion, Mike. Just let it go.
Where's my mute button? Where's my mute button? Oh, I can only mute myself. Damn.
You know what, Mike? What we should do to keep you accountable is we should put a bet on it. That's what we should do. I don't know what that bet would be, but that's a way to keep something accountable.
Mike, you like making bets on it.
You should bet the weight that he's going to be down each month.
There you go.
We could make a video every month. Mike could have a weigh-in.
Oh, Mike, you could have a fitness channel. There you go.
There you go.
No.
Simply your fitness.
Simply your fitness.
This has become a very weighty conversation.
Okay, we can move on. We can move on.
Oh man.
All right, we go to another story.
What do we got left?
We got the Apple, Google, and Apple and Amazon joined hands. We have the.
Let's do that one, man. That was interesting.
All right, I'm going to open that one up. Jerome, you want to read this one?
Sure. Actually, I haven't really gone through this one, so let me see this here.
All right, let me share. This one is on AndroidCentral.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you're ready.
Yeah, so I'll just go over the title real quick. Google, Apple, and Amazon join forces in creating new smart home standard. The joint venture is rather unimaginatively called Project Connected Home over IP. That's a very long. Jesus, why does it have to be so complicated? Okay, so what you need to know, Amazon, Apple, and Google are pooling resources to create a new standard for smart home technologies. Project Connected Home over IP aims to increase interoperability between different companies' smart home products. Better still, it's supposed to be open source, further reducing the yoke of proprietary standards on our lives. If you're a fan of smart home products and can't wait to live in a futuristic utopia where everything in your house is, quote, alive, Amazon, Apple, and Google may have some good news for you. The folks behind the Echo Dot, HomeKit, and the Nest Mini, respectively, are now working on creating a new standard to regulate smart home technology with the aim of simplifying development for device manufacturers and increasing compatibility for consumers. The name of the venture, project connected home over IP. Super boring, I know, but hey, at least they have a cute acronym chip. And it's going to be open source, so hopefully none of these giants known for trying their best at locking you into their own walled garden can wield undue influence over the standard at the expense of smaller players in the smart home space. That's actually really great. To that end, the companies will also be working with the Zigbee Alliance and its constituent members, IKEA, Legrand, NXP Semiconductors, Residio, Samsung SmartThings, Schneider Electric, Signify, formerly Philips Lighting, Silicon Labs, Somfy, and Woolean. While exact specifications for the standard have not yet been drawn up, the group aims to make security, reliability, and seamless use the critical tenets of their work. As such, they hope to incorporate support for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth Low Energy, and Thread into the end product. I don't know if we really need to go through all of that here. Let me scroll down here. Unfortunately, while Amazon, Apple, and Google have all committed to continue supporting their existing products, they say their work on the standard will focus on new products, which means current products may be left in the lurch when the standard is eventually released. It may not be too far into the future either, with the group promising a first draft of the standard by late 2020.
Okay. Well, I think it's a good idea that they're doing that, because maybe we'll actually get these products to work together. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm surprised Apple's involved at all. I'm surprised.
I'm actually surprised Apple agreed to do this, because the one thing that especially Apple likes to do is pick something, keep it as their own, and then nobody else has use for it. So
So obviously they all think they're going to make more money this way, or they wouldn't be doing it. So
I'm just wondering how. Then what's the competitive factor here?
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's no. It kills the competition. That's why I'm surprised Apple's involved.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
If everything's going to work together, then why would you? What's your point of going to buy a specific?
Well, I think Apple doesn't sell HomeKit as much as Amazon and Google sell theirs, so I'm thinking that's got to be part of it.
Yeah, Apple doesn't have anything. Apple doesn't have their own, except for HomePod. Apple has no smart nothing.
Well, I bet you more on
HomeKit things like, and if you want like a HomeKit doorbell, it's like not a doorbell, a doorknob. It's like $500. Like the one that
really?
All of Apple's HomeKit stuff is expensive. It's crazy.
Exactly.
There's only like one doorknob, or like one doorbell. They don't have a lot of stuff that works with it, so it's expensive.
You know what? Speaking of proprietary stuff, I just real side note here, but like with the Apple Watch, if you got that LTE chip in it, or eSIM or whatever, can you use Spotify on it yet or no? Can you only use Apple Music? That's what I heard. I heard if you got an Apple Watch, you could. But I heard you could only use Spotify if you had your phone on you. So if you wanted to bring the watch,
I don't think Spotify has a standalone app for the Apple Watch.
So you would only have to use Apple Music if you wanted to leave your house without your iPhone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me.
I got the LTE watch, but I don't even have a data plan on it.
Oh, really? Did you just get it just to $10
a month for, you know what I mean? I got it because just in case, I want to have the option, but I don't want to
anyway,
not have it. But
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to stray there. I was thinking proprietary and Apple, and those two go really well together.
Yeah, Spotify and Apple, they got like a war, man.
I know.
They always go back and forth.
Yeah, I find it interesting that we started the show talking about tracking and knowing, our privacy, and here at the end we're going to end up with a talk about Google, Apple, and Amazon joining forces on home smart standard. You know what I mean? Come on.
Maybe that's all part of the conspiracy.
Your data when that happens, right?
Actually, you know what I read? Something that was interesting is, did you know do any of you guys have Google Homes or the Google Nest or whatever they're calling it now?
George is big. George has got them all.
Yeah. Google Home upstairs, and I have the Home Hub, and I also have Amazon Alexa here. I have it upstairs.
Like I said, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So like, because we're talking about privacy, the one thing that I was actually thinking about too was, like obviously having a Google Home, because I have one, right? Like, and like is listening to us all the time.
Right.
Did you know that there is a setting on the Google Home where you can actually have it play a tone so that the tone will play to let you know that it's listening? Did you know that there's an option for that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like in the accessibility option. I have to look, but it's a good way to know if it's listening. I mean,
no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, then it's listening.
Accessibility thing. I just was reading something that said that if you tell it something and you didn't want it to,
I read that too.
Say something. I forget the phrase.
Yeah, it was like that. You tell it that it wasn't for you.
Yeah,
wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it's listening.
Yeah, so if it listens and it responds or whatever, you say you give the keyword and then just say that wasn't for you, and then I haven't tried it yet, but I think it will either eliminate it or whatever. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever went to your list, Jerome, and seen all the stuff that you said to Google?
I don't want to because I just don't want to know.
I want to because everything is on there. That thing is crazy.
See, for me, I don't have to because at least 4 or 5 times a week. Did you enjoy going to? Did you enjoy?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you know where I am.
No, George. I mean the fact that it records everything you say to it. So sometimes you can go to the list and play back all your recordings.
That's
crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to a crazy old man.
Google's got a lot of information.
Yep. I don't mind as long as they don't Skynet me. I'm good.
For now.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't Google doesn't Google own Boston Dynamics? With that robot dog or whatever.
But I think they sold them off this year, didn't they? I think
they did.
I believe they did.
But that was something. That's some kind of
You guys saw the commercial, right, for Boston Dynamics where now they're selling that whatever robotic dog they have.
They're selling it.
Oh yeah, they're actually trying to push it off to like construction workers because that's where I guess they could do tasks like that. I just keep thinking about that. Do you guys watch I'm sure you guys saw that Black Mirror episode with the dog, like the killer robot dog. No, you guys have to. That was actually based off the Boston Dynamics dog.
Yeah, Google probably helped them make the movie.
That was a really good episode.
Of course, my mind being what it is, I'm a construction worker, and here comes the dog, and what am I saying? What up, dog? That's how my mind works.
Oh my God, I'm watching this. I'm watching the commercial they put out. It's a 2-minute commercial.
So yeah, you're watching it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Spot
crazy.
launch, yeah.
That's what they called it.
We got like 3 more people. Tana came in.
And hello to Tana.
Alan from Phone Tech at Work.
Came in. Yo, Alan. Yo, Tana.
Yeah.
Well, you missed all the fireworks. Actually, this has been one of our most nights.
George has been agreeing a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it is the season of spirit of giving. You were giving. You were all giving today.
That's all right. Next month, I'm gonna send my boys to kick your butt, Will.
Oh man.
All right.
So what's everybody's plans? What's going on? I'm going to my brother's for Christmas, and I'm going to my wife's cousin for dinner, and we're all going to be with my family. My son's coming over, my grandson, granddaughter, over my brother's, and
eating
casserole and changing stories and watch the little kids open up their presents. So
awesome.
Sounds like a good day, Mike.
Okay.
I'll be home. I got to work that night and the evening.
You still got to work, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I wish that place closed, but yeah, I got to work. So I mean,
Jerome, what do you got? Anything going on?
No, and so unfortunately, because all my family's back home in Chicago, so I am actually spending Christmas by myself this year. So I'm actually going to take that day to just work. Probably put another video out. I don't know yet, but it'll be fine. So
you know what, Jerome, I'll FaceTime you. I'll put you all the whole family. I'm just gonna say this is Jerome. Look at everybody say hi. He's
it's
home
not
alone.
it's not the same because I can't eat the food. So like I'll feel
I'll
left
be in
out.
front of you and let you know what you're missing.
No, that's even worse. That's worse.
Oh man.
Well, I will be in Florida most of next week, and maybe I'll see Android Stud because I'll only be about 15 minutes from him anyway. So,
How long are you gonna be there for, George?
Tuesday to Saturday. I'll be back Saturday. So,
but you said you're going there like permanently?
Yep.
But that's not until next year or what?
No, end of next month. Yeah.
Okay.
Gary is crazy.
This morning I got up, it was 27 degrees. So next week I'll be in 70 and 80 degree weather.
Today here in California, it was 77. It was great.
There you go.
Man, Mike, where do we get to today?
What, about 36?
Yeah, your mother posted something in the 20s today, didn't she?
Yeah, it was cold this morning. It was cold and frosty. A lot of frost on the car. So
right. I work, all the other guys will get out before we take cars to the airport. You know, they'll be scraping. I'm like, my scraping days were over when I left Thursday. I sit in the car, I turn on the heat, and I turn on the wipers, and when it's clean, I go. I'm not scraping.
Yeah. Oh no, I turn on the car, go back in there, have another cup of coffee, or finish up whatever I do.
Nothing. I did it 44 years of scraping in New Jersey. That was enough. But I'm sure of the four of us, Jerome probably has the most experience scraping because Chicago is Chicago.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I've done it all. I've fallen. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen on my back, slipping on ice.
Yeah.
And I'm about to do it again because I'm eventually moving back home. I don't know exactly when, but I will.
See, I left Florida. I just need the heat. You know, and I learned to deal with cold because of my motorcycle, but I just love heat. I don't like cold. That's just me.
There you go.
Yeah, this cold is terrible. It's brutal.
All right, we are overtime. So next week, folks, we will be on my channel, and Will and Mike will be taking their monthly break, and it'll be Jerome and myself next week.
That guy's channel. That guy.
Right. It'll be
That guy. That guy.
Right. You're getting good at this, Mike.
I'm getting there.
Now you got to go get yourself a pointer. You know. Not the dog stick. You know.
How about the back scratcher? Will that work? There we go. You know.
That'll work.
I like that you have a back scratcher handy on you.
That's right. When it itches, it's a real.
I thought that's what your wife was for. You know.
Well, I'm up here. She's
not
downstairs.
when. Yeah, not when he's up there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. So thanks for watching. I hope everybody has a very merry and blessed Christmas, and everybody doesn't eat too much. I can't say that to Mike because I know where he's going. and Jerome's going to have food fantasies about what Mike cooks.
I really am. I'm really thinking about it.
All right, you guys say your good night. Jerome, you want to go first?
Sure. Again, guys, if you don't know me, I'm Jerome Ortega. You can find me on YouTube at Jerome Ortega or my other social media at Phone Jerome.
Will?
Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend. I'm about to go have a terrible night. That's how my nights go now.
Whoa, there he is.
All terrible, man. There's nothing good about 60 people. Nothing good about it. None at all.
Good luck, Will. Good luck.
Laying off.
How's that? You know.
Huh?
Mike, your turn.
I'm Mike Dixon. I'm SimplyYourDevice. You like today's video? Give George a thumbs up. Matter of fact, give everybody a thumbs up. Listen, you get me on the Twitters at your device and also at your device on the IG. So come on by and say hi, and I'll have pictures of casseroles definitely on those two social platforms.
I'm waiting.
Okay, you got it.
Of course, you know I'm Mobile Geezer, and Jerome and I will be here next week on the Friday after Christmas, and we'll maybe be talking about some of that stuff. I will be for the first time broadcasting from my MacBook Air, so that should be interesting. And maybe Jerome and I can get to the whole show without arguing with each other. Who knows?
We'll see.
All right. Happy
Merry Christmas, everybody, and have a good holiday. I'm going to add that too.
All right.
Happy holidays, guys.
See you next week.
You see, Will. You see.